Hi kiddos, I'm going to read aloud to you another Eric Carle story today. This is one you probably haven't heard before. He wrote this book, I think it was all the way back in 1972 when he wrote this story. And it's about a baker, and the baker's name is Walter. And he goes through a couple of different, he has a few different problems that he has to work through in this story. Now, I know we're talking about inventors this week, and I want to see if we can make some connections. We're going to read another story actually about a famous inventor tomorrow, but this is definitely a fiction story. So we're going to see if we can make some connections. Now, as you're listening to the story today, I just want you to think about Walter's feelings. So we're going to talk about beginning, middle, and end with this story. And for the activity that you're going to complete that goes along with Walter the baker, again, you're going to pick out his feelings in the beginning, his feelings in the middle, and his feelings in the end of the story. So I just want you to think about that as we go through and read Walter the Baker, written and illustrated by Eric Carle. So, like Eric Carle's style, he dedicates it to his mom and his dad. Cute little village. And it says, long ago in a town encircled by a wall lived Walter the baker, his wife Anna, and their son Walter Jr. Walter the baker was known even outside the walls of the town. He was the best baker in the whole duchy. Early every morning, while everybody was still asleep, Walter began baking his breads, rolls, cookies, tarts, and pies. Anna sold the baked goods in the store. No one could resist the warm, sweet smells drifting from Walter's bakery. People came from near and far. Walter must be an amazing baker if people are traveling near and far. So I want you to think about, what does that mean? If people are traveling from near and far, where are they traveling from? The Duke and Duchess, who ruled over the duchy, loved Walter's sweet rolls. Every morning Walter Jr. carried a basket full of warm, sweet rolls to the castle where they lived. Mmm, said the Duchess, spreading quince jelly on her roll. Ah, said the Duke, putting honey on his. And so each day was the same as the day before, until one early morning. When Walter's cat was chasing a mouse and tipped over the can of milk. "What will I do?" cried Walter. "I cannot make sweet rolls without fresh milk." In desperation, Walter grabbed a pitcher of water. "I hope nobody will notice the difference," he said as he poured the water into the flour to make the dough. So now we're getting to the problem here. What happened? Usually Walter has milk that he uses for his sweet dough, but because the cat tipped it over, now he has to use water. Now you and I may not be able to tell the difference between a roll made with water and one made with milk, but the Duke, and especially the Duchess, could tell the difference. "Ugh!" said the Duchess after she took a bite. "What is this?" roared the Duke. "Where is Walter the baker? Bring him here at once." So Walter was brought before the Duke. "What do you call this?" roared the Duke. "This is not a roll, this is a stone!" And with that he threw it at Walter's feet. "I used water instead of milk," Walter admitted, hanging his head in shame. "Pack your things and leave this town and my duchy forever," shouted the Duke. "I never want to see you again." "My Duke," pleaded Walter, "this is my home. Where will I go? Please give me one more chance, please." "I must banish you," said the Duke. But then he remembered Walter's good rolls and how much he and the Duchess would miss them. "Well, Walter," the Duke started to say. Then he thought and thought some more. "You may stay if you can invent a roll through which the rising sun can shine 3 times. And to make it more difficult," he added, "it must be made from one piece of dough, and most of all must taste good. Now go home and bring me such a roll tomorrow morning." Poor Walter! Worried and sad, he trudged back to his bakery. So the Duke has given him kind of a task that he doesn't know how he's going to solve this problem. Walter worked all day and into the night. He made long rolls, short rolls, round rolls, twisted rolls. He made thin rolls, and he made fat rolls. And he worked some more. Walter beat, pulled, pushed, and pounded the dough. But it was all in vain. He could not come up with a roll that would please the Duke. By early morning, Walter had only one long piece of dough left. "It's hopeless," he cried. In a sudden fit of anger, he grabbed the last piece of dough and flung it against the ceiling. "Stick there!" he yelled at the dough. But it didn't. It fell, twisting itself as it dropped down and plopped into a pail of water. Anna and Walter Jr. were awakened by Walter's yell and rushed into the bakery just as Walter was about to dump out the water and the twisted piece of dough. "Father, stop!" shouted Walter Jr. "Look!" And Anna quickly popped the dough into the hot oven. Soon it was brown and crisp. She took out the roll and handed it to Walter. It hadn't risen very high, but it had 3 holes. So what happened? What do you think he made? Walter held up the twisted roll and smiled. He saw that the morning sun was shining through it 3 times. That's what the Duke meant. The sun had to shine through it. Walter put the roll into a basket and rushed to the castle to deliver his invention to the Duke and Duchess. And they, too, saw the morning sun shine through it 3 times. Then the Duke and Duchess each took a small bite. Walter was afraid to look because he had no idea how it would taste. "Well done," said the Duke. "Perfect," exclaimed the Duchess. Both were glad that Walter would not have to be sent away. And Walter, too, was happy that he could stay. "Now, pray tell us, Walter, what do you call this?" asked the Duke. Yes, pray tell us." Walter stammered as he tried to come up with a name. "What was that?" Pretzel?" said the Duke. "Pretzel, it shall be. From now on," he declared, "it shall be sweet rolls in the morning and pretzels in the afternoon," said the Duchess. Walter returned to his bakery and spent all day and night making pretzels. The next morning there were baskets of pretzels outside the store for the whole town to taste, and a special basket of pretzels for the Duke and Duchess. And a cheer went up for Walter the pretzel maker. What did he invent? I want you to think about that. What was Walter's great invention? All right, so that is the story of Walter the Baker. So now you're going to complete a little activity that talks about Walter's feelings at the beginning of the story, in the middle of the story, and at the end of the story. And there were some really great clues for you to think about so that you could pick out those feelings that Walter had throughout the story. And I think you'll be able to do it just fine. So have fun. I love this story and I hope you liked it too. So we'll see you guys later.